Jocelyn Fitzgerald. Welcome back to the Art and Science of EMDR, and thank you for joining us.
Oh, yeah, I'm excited to be here. I'm excited to share. I have a few little things I'd love to show you guys. One is, I
Yeah,
think I'll just start. Is it okay if I start with an image that got me
it's
excited about this concept?
yeah,
All right.
everything is okay.
Okay,
Whatever you
good.
choose to
Okay.
do is okay.
So I was not really comfortable with the idea of using AI art as a therapist. And as an art therapist, I was like, why would you ever take people away from the creativity of using their own hands, mixing paint colors, using pencils? And then I had this client, a principal, an associate principal, come in with this image, and it totally changed the way I thought about AI art. And we were working on his level of burnout and fatigue. And I asked him what it felt like inside of his heart. And he said, I don't know exactly. I feel like I'm just pouring into everyone else. And then he came back the next session with this image of a man pouring out of his heart into everyone else. And he talked about how sharing this with his wife brought tears to her eyes and how he felt she really understood him and got him in a deeper level, and how much he pours into everyone he's working with and how little he has left for himself. And then in return, how little he has left for her. And so this got me started on thinking about like, this is actually incredible, especially for adults, especially for my adult clients who are really resistant to the creative process. And as you guys probably experience and know, when there is a lot of trauma, usually there is a more like a perfectionistic quality, there's more rigidness and a lack of creative thinking and problem solving and being able to see things from different perspectives. And so to me, AI art was kind of this gateway into helping my clients think more creatively, use their words to explain how they're feeling and describe it, and then in turn creating this incredible image out of AI art. So that was my start to using this.
Yeah, I think is that the one you mentioned in your article that you recently published in a psychotherapy
I
networker?
do. Yep.
Yeah, cool. So before we dive in, Jocelyn, I wonder if you can share a little bit of what you just said, that you had this resistance, right? You're an artist, you've been doing art for a very long time. I know you and I talked about it before, like it helped you cope with things as, when you're younger. But then a lot of people look at AI as like, oh, this thing is just like taking over the world. And if you can share a little bit about the mindset transitioning between, like traditional art to more like using AI to do your art.
Yeah, well, I think just kind of what I was saying, in that I would always rather have my clients creating their own art using their own hands. But if they're not willing to or unable to, I think this is the next best thing. And I think this can also be a gateway into eventually getting to a place where they can use the paintbrush and the color pencils and the clay. And I think being able to think a little bit outside the box with this is really important. You love it or hate it, AI art is here and AI is here, right? It's kind of like when the sewing machine was first introduced to the world, it was a big outrage and people were really upset. This is going to take all the work away from the seamstresses. And in fact, it actually enhanced their work. Of course, they're still able to go in and use that fine tip needle and create designs, but the sewing machine helped them to create these bigger products more quickly, more rapidly. And I think AI art used as a tool like that can be really helpful. Yeah, it's not for everyone, but I also think, like, why not try it? I think you guys should be trying this too for your own self-care, just to see if it resonates in a way that feels good. And if not, you can leave it. You don't have to use it. But why not explore something new?
Yeah, and I shared, yeah, again, my traditional artistic skills are as low as one can have. But when I do use AI art, and I've used MidJourney, which you're going to talk about the platforms that you've been using, it makes me feel creative, which again, like never had that in my life in a traditional way. Like just give me like a pen and paper and ask me to draw something, and it's just I don't even have words to describe how bad it is. And with AI, I can just give it a prompt and I can improve the prompt and I can, go a little back and forth and create something that, at least in my opinion, looks good. And then I saw what you created, you with more, traditional artistic skills. It's just taking it to a whole different level. So
Yeah,
this
and
is
it's just
impressive.
trial and error. I mean, I think with MidJourney, you can look at prompts, you can look at the way people word things, and you can use their words and then modify them. So I've been able to kind of look and play with certain words that I had no idea in the beginning what I was doing. And so it's just kind of evolved over time. Yeah.
Yeah.
I would say when you start with prompts, you start big and then you go smaller. So, starting, you want a cat, and then you could say, I just make a cat, it will make a very generic cat. But then if you say, I want a cat that's in, the 1940s and is wearing a suit and is smoking a cigar, I mean, you can just keep going and refining um, and making it more and more creative, which can feel really good to watch.
Yeah. So first of all, I want to address there was a question in chat. We're
Oh,
going to
yeah.
have Q&A. So we're going to answer a lot of questions. And Jocelyn also was nice enough to create a little bit of a resource PDF with a bunch of resources that you can access. Again, most of them are free. MidJourney is, I think it's like $10 a month, but a lot of image generation AI tools are free. So yeah, we'll get to that. Jocelyn, I'm wondering if you can share a little bit about more. Last week, you and I talked, and you shared like you had a session with a client, and then there was something that the client mentioned. Then you created an image and shared. If you can share a little bit how you use these AI tools, maybe because we're an EMDR learning community specifically with EMDR work.
Yeah. So I have two clients that recently. One client, I don't know if you all know about the SPEC scan, but it's basically where you go and you have your client imagine when they were in utero and what it was like. And then they can process doing EMDR, what that experience was like. So this young girl in her 20s, she was like, I think my mom was under great stress. And, she went and described all of the stressful things that were going on for her mom, but then she could visualize herself as this baby floating in this blue sea with golden sprinkles all around it. And so I asked her if I could make an image using AI art for her. And she said yes. And so I created this beautiful little fetus floating in a blue sea with gold. And then she was able to print that and take that with her, which was really transformative for her and powerful for her to have that image. And then I had another woman that had an experience where she was trapped in a car, trapped in a locked seatbelt and couldn't get out. And in the end, we did all this processing around it. And in the end, she said she felt like this little girl. There's a statue on Wall Street of this little girl standing with her hands on her hip. And she said she felt like that statue on top of the car, like she had overcome that. And again, I said, can I create that image for you? And she said, yeah. And we printed it out. And she has that now hanging for her and as a reminder of the work that we've done and the power of her mind and healing and that AIP processing.
Yeah, I can think there's so many things you can do for phase two, right? When we prepare our
Yeah.
clients to do to create something more visual. I think for example, I'm a very bad visualizer. So if you ask me to close my eyes and imagine something, I just doesn't have, and it has a name for it, and I forget what it
There
is. But
is, yeah.
and to have something concrete visual is just can be just so helpful, especially for people with my limitations.
Yeah.
But
Yeah, Misha.
yeah, that one. Thank you, Brittany. All right, Jocelyn, I'm wondering if you want to share your screen and show us some things,
Yeah.
or actually, before you share your screen,
Yeah.
actually, if people can drop in the chat. First of all, where are you from in the world? And then what are you hoping to get out of this workshop that we're doing, this webinar? Because Jocelyn can do many different things. There's no like, she doesn't have like a prepared prompt. We can just explore, make it more fun. So just drop in the chat, where are you from? And what do you hope to get out of it? Or what do you want to see? And I'm going to look at the chat, Jocelyn, so you don't have to, and I can read it for you. Brenda is from Houston, Texas. That's good. It's a good start. Okay, California, New Jersey. Just listen, Pennsylvania. I think, Jocelyn, how long have you been doing that, Jocelyn?
The prompts.
Yeah.
Yeah, so the example I started with, like, what does it feel like? What does your heart feel like? It's an example of a prompt. What part of you needs to be seen? You could do a whole deck of parts of all your individual parts, like I recently did. When I show you my MidJourney, you'll see some of my parts. Um, and just really like getting detailed. Is it an animal? What's the expression? What's it wearing? What's your current emotional state? You can create a whole image around your emotions, creating different images for that. You could even, at Crystal, I see you have sand tray toys. You could even like piece together different parts from different images that you create to create kind of a collage using
Mm,
MidJourney or ChatGPT. The one that Rotem shared in his article was we were talking about what your ideal work situation is. What does it look like? I have always had this dream of creating a treehouse art therapy studio. So I use ChatGPT to create that. But that could be also a calm place. We do that in resourcing in phase 2. What does your calm place look like? And, for a lot of our clients, they're like, no place feels calm or safe. And so you can imagine into that. Like, let's take pieces. Like, I've never actually been inside of a treehouse art therapy studio, but I can imagine what it would feel like. And using AI art, I can create it.
great. Okay, so a few things that people are asking in the chat is to use it to externalize internal parts, which I think
Yep.
is a great thing. And we did a webinar specifically, a whole webinar on that with Jamie Marich that we link below this video when people watch it later. Yeah, art prompts, just like art prompts in general, I think that a lot of people are not familiar with it, with how to do that, how to start. Interested to hear what others are using and hear about AI use. What else? Just looking forward to hear creative things Jocelyn has been doing with AI art. Learn how to use AI with EMDR and discover different tools. Yeah, and there's also a question from Patricia about the difference between MidJourney and DaVinci. So let's start with that, Jocelyn.
Okay. I have to be honest, I have not really used DaVinci.
Okay.
I do use MidJourney and I pay for it, and it's $8 a month with the subscription. So I don't know, it's like $100 for the year. With ChatGPT, you can get 5 to 10 free images a day without paying anything. So those are kind of the three. I also pay for ChatGPT because then you get unlimited images. But I do think for clients, if they want to embark in this, having ChatGPT downloaded to their phone is good because ChatGPT, for better or worse, does get to know you. So, like, one of the things that can be fun with my teenage clients is I could say, let's ask ChatGPT what image you need to see today. Make it personal for me. And I've done this the last few days and it's been really lovely. And usually for me, it includes something with art because it knows I love art. It knows I'm a woman now. So it creates images specifically for me in that way.
Yeah.
The issue with ChatGPT, sorry to jump in,
Oh,
I have
please.
a paid version, but
Mhm.
ChatGPT does not create a new version of an image. You cannot correct an image or ask them to modify something. It creates
No,
a completely new image.
totally.
It's kind of hard to work on that because sometimes it's close, but you want one modification or a different color or make it bigger or smaller, and it will throw you a completely different thing.
That's right. But MidJourney, it has two little buttons on the bottom of each image. It says very strong or like subtly modify it. And you can click one of those and it can create with the same idea, like the same character, another 3 images or 4 images that reflect that exact same image. Yeah. So you can get MidJourney is going to be, if you really want to get into this, I think a better bet, a better investment for your money. Yeah.
And is it MJ? It appears as MJ on the Apple Store because I put MidJourney and in the Apple Store and nothing came up, but there was MJ.
I don't think you need to go to the Apple Store, Patricia. It's just you go to MidJourney, you just go and Google and search MidJourney, and then it's through Discord, right?
But it also has a Google now. So it just used to be
Oh,
Discord, but now it also is connected to Google. So yes, MID and then Journey.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. Okay. Thank you.
Yeah, sure.
all right, Jocelyn, you can
You guys
share your
want me
screen
to show
and
you?
yeah,
Yeah.
let's have some fun.
I'll show you my MidJourney. So I was thinking about like a shield, like a protection for therapists. Like what's, Protecting our hearts is a really good thing, especially right now with everything going on in the world. So I had it create a realistic, this was my prompt, a realistic photo of a shield with a fiery crest made entirely of crystals and diamonds. The shield should consist of shining facets that reflect light, and the spots should be made of black and onyx and dark gemstones. So you have these images, and then you can see very subtle or very strong. So if you like one, I really like this. So then I can say, okay, let's keep going with this. And you click it, and then it starts making you more in that theme. Takes a little bit. So if you were doing this with an EMDR client, this is where you could have them doing some bilateral stimulation, could have them doing their own butterfly tapping, and then, oh, it starts to appear. And you can take these and keep going, or you could start over, and you can write up here in the chat box what you like. I'll just show you a little bit. So this was one of my parts. I was thinking about like an angry, cute dog feeling frustrated with the world and politics. This was the happy version of the dog. And then my friend Daniel's here, where I'm working on this nest project where I'm actually going to incorporate an image of myself into a collage. So this was kind of just playing around with ideas of like creating a nest. And I want to incorporate parts of my ancestors, the strengths from my ancestors. So I was asking it to incorporate pictures. But you can see, you could really go deep. And then I actually uploaded, you can upload a picture of yourself. I don't know if you guys can see, but there's over in the chat box, you can put this image of yourself, which none of these look like me. And you can see sometimes they get the hands wrong. So there are ways that you can go through and you can like correct the hands. You can erase it, and then you can just ask it to remake it with the correct hand.
Right.
So
I think that's a good point, that AI a lot of times creates, there's something with hands, or like people have 3 feet or 6 fingers or things like that.
yeah, it doesn't always get it right. Yeah, it's still working.
Yeah.
So this is MidJourney, and you can go really deep. You can also see examples. You can explore like amazing art. So this guy was my inspiration for my shield, and I can just use words that they created and modify it to create whatever you want.
So you saw that in MidJourney and that kind of inspired you, Jocelyn? Is that what
The
you're saying?
shield, exactly.
Okay.
Yeah.
So someone else created it, and that's the nice thing about
Yeah.
AI,
Especially
right?
for people
Like,
that are brand new. Yeah.
yeah, you
Because
can see what other people created.
it gives you scaffolding, right? So you don't have to be an expert right away. You can kind of start slowly and build towards what you want. Okay, and then I'll just show you. So this was my today, create a personal image for me and surprise me, which is kind of can be fun. And so this was what it created
Nice.
today. And then I said, I'm doing a talk, so can you help me with an image about a talk? And it created a man, which it shouldn't have. It should know me better. And then I said, I want a woman and a smaller group, since I knew you're going to be a smaller group. And so this is what it created.
Can I pause you for a second
Yeah, yeah.
and ask Jocelyn, so what was the functionality of like you're creating this image? Did it kind of like, did you feel like it helped you prepare for like today's talk?
Yeah, I think it can be a great resource of like, oh yeah, I have this knowledge inside of me. And so I could sit with my journal and I just wrote a little bit about what I wanted to share, kind of helped me to feel centered and focused for today. Yeah, which is what we want for our clients, right? Like, let's get focused before we dive into a heavy trauma reprocessing. What's the
Yeah.
strength that you need? And then, you could take it in a number of different ways. Like that ball could mean something totally different to somebody else looking at this image.
Okay.
Yeah. So maybe should we have people create a little something? So let's
Yeah. I don't know if people have what do you recommend? Like, what tool do you recommend them using?
So I'm curious, how many of you, I can only see a small portion, but how many people do use chat or AI art? Have used it at all? Okay, a little tiny bit. Okay, not a lot. Okay. How many of you have, okay, good. ChatGPT to your phones. Yeah. Okay. Okay. So I would love for you guys to use your phone, and then after you're done, you're going to just hold your hand up and then we'll share. Create an image of where would be your ideal space to practice your therapy in as a therapist. Like, would you want to be in the beach? Would you want to be in the woods? Would you want a cabin? Write the prompts, and then I would love to see what you guys create, what you come up with. Does that make sense?
Yeah, I would say most people are
If you
not
don't,
on screen, so I don't know if people are up for creating it in real time or not. But
okay.
maybe let's see what people come up with, give them a couple minutes, and if not, maybe Jocelyn, you can
Yes.
you can share your
Crystal,
screen and then people can help, you can create the prompt together to kind of like help people think about how
like,
to create these prompts.
if people just type in the chat box a few things, I can take all those and put them into MidJourney and we can create a collective space. So like Crystal, you could just type a few words of a place where you would like your office to be. And if you already have your dream office, great. But you could even say what it is about your office that makes it feel so special.
Okay, and I'm going to drop in the chat a tool that is free by Google. I think of MidJourney is the best tool out there. So maybe it's not as good, but it's really, really good. I'm just going to drop it in chat. If you have a Google account, you can just use it for free. It's Google Labs and it's ImageFX. So I just drop it in chat and you can, yeah. Luna, that's a good question about proper prompt. So the nice thing about if you're using ChatGPT, you can ask ChatGPT how to create a proper prompt. I am starting to experiment. You just use your own language and you ask, how do I create a prompt? I want to start using AI. You can, the more information you provide, the more input, the output will be better. So you can say, I'm a therapist. I'm working with clients with trauma. I'm an EMDR therapist. I'm creating these kind of resources, suggest a prompt, and then you go back and forth and the AI really helps you kind of craft the prompt. Does that make sense, Luna?
I just put in the chat a link to a guide, a very good guide that has a whole set of ideas for creating prompts and how to make them more specific and areas.
Thank you.
And it's free.
Yeah, and you can also create a fill in the blank for your clients. Like if you're wanting them to create a calm space, like remember that game Mad Libs we used to play, like where you put in the adjectives, describing words. Yeah.
All right. So I don't know if people created something and are willing to share.
I would love to see. Can we make Luna? She has hers.
Yeah.
Can we pin
Luna,
her?
you want to like airdrop it to your computer and then drop it in chat? It looks good, but I can't like, I want to see the actual picture like big. Anyone else?
Luna, can you share what you wrote in?
Yeah, she's gonna put
Okay.
it on the computer so we can all watch it. There's no grades today, guys.
No.
So
And I intentionally wanted this to be easy. I didn't want to activate anyone. I know you guys, most of you have to go back to work after this.
there we go. Amy shared something. Check this out. Oh, wow. I'm gonna maybe share my screen, or Jocelyn, do you want to share your screen to
Can
share
you
what
do it,
Amy?
Matam? I don't know how to
I
do
can do it.
that.
Yeah.
Okay.
Do you see that image?
Oh, wow.
That's the office. Amy, I want to be your office partner. I don't know where you are in the world, but
Oh my
yeah,
gosh. Amy, what
that's
did you say
beautiful.
to it?
Hold on, let me see. I said, create an image of a therapy office, which is in the woods and has a lot of natural light with big windows. And it came back and it didn't have any of the leaves. It just had the trunks of the trees. So I said, try again with trees that have foliage nearer to the ground. So then it came up with, it put a lot of extra plants in the office. And then not that many plants were in the office the first time.
It is awesome.
That's
Wow.
beautiful.
Yeah.
All right, let's see
Thank
what
you.
else we have. All right, I see Luna's, so I'm gonna download it.
Yeah, and I wrote something very simple to just see, like I just create an image of my ideal therapy space, make it in a cabin in the woods, and make both people females because they tend to make it in males. So I was like, I'm gonna ask it to make it females.
Yes. Oh, awesome. Could you guys see how using this with clients would be fun and helpful? Yeah.
I had a client who I had never thought of this, and we had done resourcing, and we did a calm place and a protector figure and a wisdom figure. And he came back after, like the last session, and he said, I put all of this information into ChatGPT, and it came up with this beautiful picture of a lion on a beach that was in outer space. And there was an eagle, and they just put it all together. It was really cool. So it was actually a client who introduced me to the concept of this.
Yep. That's so great. Oh, I love that. This is beautiful too. Is this
Yeah, that's Luna's. Yeah.
oh my gosh. Amazing. Yep. Wow.
Oh, yeah. So yeah, it's so easy to do it. Like, you know, if you want females, you want male, you want female, one male, whatever you want to create, you just prompt it with words and it just creates it, which is just so amazing, right? Like if someone told you that 10 years ago, it would be like science fiction. I think people in Google and, you know, OpenAI and Elon Musk knew that 10 years ago, but for us, it's like, wow, this is all new. And
I mean, and I can like feel when I look at both of those images, I can feel different in my body, the way I breathe. And when they study neuroscience, people, when they just go to art museums and look at beautiful art, the same areas of the brain light up as when they actually create art. So we're still activating the brain in ways that are healing and feeling really calm and centered. Do you have another image, Rotem?
yeah. I'm gonna share it in just a second.
Whose image is the next one?
Who was that? Lauren.
Lauren, tell us about what you wrote.
Oh, let's see. All I wrote was an office in the middle of the Northern Lights with a lot of window access and LGBTQ friendly. That's really all I wrote.
Oh my gosh. Oh, I love it.
Yeah, it's pretty good for a first.
Yeah,
Yeah.
absolutely.
Oh my gosh, adorable. Yeah, that's really cool. How do you guys see using this with clients? How do you see incorporating it? Or are you using art now? Are any of you using art now with clients?
I've used it for myself in a group workshop that I did as a participant. We needed to have a picture of us as a little kid, and I have very few, and they're blurred. They're old photos, and they're like I only have 2 or 3. So I went to ChatGPT and I gave it current picture. And I said, give me a picture of this person as a little kid. And it generated an image that did the trick.
Oh, that's amazing.
That's Patricia's.
Oh, Patricia, this is beautiful.
Well, she's from Florida, so she likes the beach.
Of course.
The prompt that I gave ChatGPT for this was, hold on a second. Create an image of an emotionally safe and grounding therapeutic space to work with my clients. I said, I'd like it on the beach overlooking the ocean, because the first version didn't have any ocean.
Yeah, Patricia, if you're looking for a bit like an office partner, I would like to partner with you too. Maybe it'll be my winter winter office.
Amazing.
Yeah, I have more.
Work. That's
so beautiful. Crystal, were you able to figure it out? No.
I don't have any sense of where to go to try something out. You know what? I don't know where people are going unless it's something you've already have set up.
So, Crystal, I'm going to drop that link again. This is by Google. If you have a Google account, you can create it. And not just you, everyone can use it. Do you see it in the chat? The ImageFX by Google Labs. Oh my God, the water slides. All right, I have another cool one to share. This is, I really like what Lauren did here with this water slide. Let me just share and then I'll say why I like it so much. You guys see it?
Oh my gosh, yeah.
Because it really helps you be creative and like have like, even if you have like imagine, you don't have to restrict yourself to logical rules, right? Like this would be very hard to technically, you know, have this kind of office, but with, you know, just prompt him it, you can just create it. And for clients, the work we do with resources, I oftentimes encourage clients to think beyond the logical, beyond the rational, right? It's something that they need to feel. Like think about supportive figures, if you're thinking about like wise figures and nurturing and protective figures, they don't have to be real people. Oftentimes I encourage people not to have real people, but to have, characters from movies or books or whatever, mythological, spiritual figures. So that this is why I like this image, because it's not logical. There's usually, I have yet to see a therapist office at the end of a water slide, but with these technologies you can create one. Well, not a real one, but an image.
Can you speak to what inspired your water slide art?
I just being fun and playful. I think that's really important, even in therapy, that you're fun and playful, and the client's like, oh, I'm okay to do that. And I just think that would be, I don't know, really fun if you could have a water slide, an office water slide.
Oh my gosh. And could you imagine printing that or showing your client that, maybe a client that's not super excited about therapy? Like,
Absolutely.
what a conversation starter that would be. How would it be to do a therapy session at the end of a water slide? Would create a great conversation. Yeah.
Yeah.
I
All
love
right. There's
that so much.
one by Summer that I'm going to share.
Beautiful.
Yeah.
Summer, what did you type in for yours?
I said I wanted a warm space that was cozy, inviting, art on the walls, and that's all I gave it. And honestly, I would totally work here.
And these are all so far, have they all been, I think, ChatGPT, right?
Yeah, I did mine on ChatGPT.
Yeah, okay, great. Yeah. So, I mean, it's a free app that I think is really pretty easy to use.
So, Jocelyn, do you have your clients do it on their ChatGPT or app, or do you share the screen with them and have them give the prompts and you create it there?
Oh, so I've done both. Now I have a printer in my office, so I can print stuff out here, but I've also had them just type it into their phone and have it. If I have them create an image that they want me to keep, I have an app called Private Vaults app, which will hold our images in a secure HIPAA compliant vault, but I would rather them to have it for themselves and take it with them. The other thing we didn't talk about, Rotem, is just the confidentiality piece.
Yeah.
And that they're creating it themselves. Obviously, they take it with them, it's theirs. I never put any identifying information in my prompts. Like, I actually am not going to be using, like, Patricia, you used your image or an image like you to create a little girl. Is that right?
Yes.
Yeah. So I wouldn't do that with my clients. Like my one client with the statue, I just asked for a statue of a little girl. But if they want, I can show them in office, like this is an example of something I did with my image to give them a sense of how they could incorporate themselves into this environment.
They could do it from their own app.
Exactly. Exactly. Yeah.
But I'm thinking, like, for clients who don't have a version of Journey or the upgraded ChatGPT, as long as it doesn't have any identifying information, we can share the screen with them and have them
Exactly.
and get the
Right. Yep.
Yeah, I think this is a really important point to maybe spend a couple more minutes and talk about, because I asked all of you last week about AI, your thoughts about AI and how to use it, and if we are, what are your thoughts about using it? And most of the concerns were about confidentiality of our clients. So just to make it clear, we're not providing any identifying information about our clients. We're helping them to create resources. But again, Jocelyn said to Patricia, I wouldn't use an image of the client and then put it into ChatGPT and create another image out of it, because I don't know what ChatGPT is doing with information. And even if I knew, even if I read the small letters, which I'm not going to, but even if I did, then next week they can change the terms of use. There's not a lot of regulation in the world of AI these days. So I would be very cautious. But I think the point I'm trying to make here is that we can create these tools or these resources for our clients with these AI tools without providing any identifying information. Any other thoughts about that, Jocelyn?
Well, I just want to say, I think a big conversation that's been going on in my local community is around AI note-taking.
Yeah.
Well, there's a handful of people that absolutely love it and say it's changed their life and so much easier. I would not do it. I'm not comfortable yet. but for some people, they're doing it. And so I think the AI note taking is a different beast than creating AI art. So just to clarify that. And I think that came up in your conversation too, Rotem, right?
Yeah.
A
yeah,
lot
yeah.
about note taking, yeah.
Yes, that's, yeah, a lot of people started using it. Again, like you said, I love that you said yet, right? Like we're not there yet. I just need to know that the information will be safe. So, Jocelyn, do you want to share? Sorry, was there a question?
I wanted to mention that actually ChatGPT, when you join, it does disclose that everything that you create through ChatGPT is used for self-learning of ChatGPT.
Yeah, it trains the model. That's
Yeah.
the kind of like, it trains a model. And everything you do with ChatGPT can and will be used against you one day. But yeah, actually, Patricia, I think that some of the large language models are, when you're a paid member, they don't use it to train the model when you're paid. So that's how they encourage
I think
people
you can
to.
opt out of that. There's a way you can opt out of that if you pay. Yeah.
Yeah. All right. Jocelyn, do you want to show your list of resources you created, and then you can drop it in chat, but also explain a little bit about the resources?
Okay, let's see. Well, I put together a little workbook for you guys with just a page of resources. Let me see. I'll share my screen. I'm also going to put together a really big workbook for the 3-hour workshop that we're going to do. So this is the workbook I put together. Here's some resources that the two that I love are the ChatGPT and then the MidJourney. I really strongly recommend.
Jocelyn, can you do a full screen?
Yeah, you're going to get this. You can look at it, print it out. A few resources that I've liked and used. And then just the benefits. I think I also, I could put another sheet in around some of the ethical considerations.
Oh, yeah. So, sorry, Jocelyn, someone posted in chat, you can zoom in at the bottom.
Okay.
You're at 50%. So yeah, that's much better.
So yeah, deepen client insight and expression, enhancing creativity when your clients are blocked. It can make EMDR more engaging when they can actually have these visual reminders of resources and tools that they have. It will expand your toolkit. It can be time saving, rather than creating a huge painting, they can just quickly type in a few words and have that prompt. And I also think you guys should be using this for your self-care. Like even just seeing those few beautiful spaces, I was like, that feels good to me. So let's keep creating spaces where we want to work, where we feel good. And then thinking about the prompts, I would say again, to start big. So you want the cat, you create a cat, and then you can go into artistic medium. So you could do like a cut paper, or you could do pressed flowers. You can put in time periods. Like I was saying, like the 1940s, 1950s, emotions, an angry, sad cat, colors that you want to focus on. You can ask clients what color that emotion is and have them really focus on that in their art. And then giving that an environment, whatever it is, what the environment looks like. And then a few prompts. So how does your heart feel? What does it look like? And you can use those above again, the emotions, the colors, the time period, the medium, creating a personal image of what I need to know right now. And you can ask it to make you something personal and surprise you, like I did this morning about doing this talk. What's your current emotional state? What colors represent this state? What's the texture? What time period would represent it? What artistic style? And then the one we did today, what's your ideal working environment? And you guys created those incredible images. The textures, the colors. Do you want it to be open and airy or small and intimate? We saw both examples. What type of furniture? So you guys could even get more nuanced with furniture, and your clients could as well. So these are just a few ideas I'm going to share with you. I'll grab the link and put it in the chat box. So yeah, I would love any questions or feedback that you guys have. I just hope this is the gateway to getting more creativity going with EMDR. That's kind of always my goal. All right, I put that in the chat box. Oh wow, you can see other people's images here.
Yeah.
Gosh.
Any question, anyone at all? And if not, Jocelyn, maybe you can
Patricia,
maybe you can talk about the workshop we're going to have next month.
Yeah, so I'm going to actually incorporate some poetry. I think poetry works really well with AI art. Giving some prompts to help you kind of get the creative juices flowing. So much of the AI art is about writing and your ability to express feelings with words and imagery. So I think poetry goes really well with this. So we're going to do some poetry and AI art, and we'll do a bunch of different examples. I'm going to show a lot of slides from my clients and the ways that I've been using it. And then we'll do a lot of fun experiences in writing and in creating and sharing again. Yeah.
It'll be fun. We're doing it on what, April 19th?
I think so. Yeah. It's put it at the very end of the packet too. So you'll get that packet and then it has all the information. I would love for you guys to join us. Yeah. Any other questions or comments? Go ahead.
Okay.
All
Thanks
right.
everyone for joining. Thank you, Jocelyn, for your time and creativity and inspiration.
You're welcome.
And
Thanks, guys.
we'll see you around in the community. Bye, everyone.